Hey, Cinecine here, and I'm warning you this might turn into a big rant. But I gotta warn you that Apple Silicon is more dangerous than, more dangerous than the coronavirus, more dangerous than all the things that have happened in the 20th century, I don't want to say it, because it would offend some people, but some of the leaders of foreign countries from the mid-20th century during World War II, Apple Silicon is more dangerous than them, too. More dangerous than Trump, more dangerous than Vladimir Putin. Yeah. They're trying to destroy the computer industry. Steve Jobs, you should be ashamed of yourself. You should have never come back to Apple in the first place in 96. Or 97, whatever year it was. Because you've just made a whole mess of the tech industry and you're ruining it. Ruining it! Now, you may be thinking, isn't Apple Silicon this innovative technology? Well, it is powerful, it fits in a small space, but lacks one thing. Repairability. Lacks two things, repairability and upgradability. It's also bad for the environment. These computers are not recyclable because of how integrated they are, and they could cause pollution, especially that it's going to build up really fast. Since these computers will break easily, not be repairable, then all these new ones are going to have to be made and thrown out really fast. It's going to create a landfill greater than what's already in a landfill. It's going to, trash the earth. And sending it into space isn't a good idea either. All this landfill that's going to result from Mac Studios being broken. Or not just broken, not even broken is good enough to broken is way more than enough to have it be thrown out. Just a small defect in the future of Apple Silicon, like in 2025, for example, and we're going to have massive loads of computers filling up landfill, massive loads of MacBook Airs, MacBook Pros, and Mac Studios and iMacs. And I doubt we're going to have an iMac in the future either, because Apple's gotten rid of the 27-inch. They're going to get rid of the 24-inch and replace it with the Mac Mini. And make you spend even more money on a display. That's what I'm thinking is going to happen. So I'm warning you, Apple. Do you really want all this landfill? Do you really want people to be inconvenienced? Because you're tricking people into liking the idea of ultra-thin devices that lack the features that people need and really want. They really do want these, but you're tricking them into not wanting them. These features like M.2s, PCIe slots, MXMs, RAM slots, maybe the optical drive and the 2.5 and 3.5 inch bays. The optical drive is less important, but the 2.5 and 3.5 inch bays are somewhat important. But the rest of those I mentioned, they are really important for computers, including ultra-thin laptops. Remember the Dell, not Dell, the PowerBook 2400 and 1400? They were low-end models. The 1400 was like a MacBook, and the 2400 like a MacBook Air. And they featured all those features. Well, instead of PCIe slots, they featured PCMCIA slots. And they were great. Now, the 2400 didn't have a optical drive, but the others did. Whatever happened to all those good features? Hot swappable bays in those 90s laptops. Was there a reason to get rid of that? Did people complain saying we don't want that in our computers anymore? Did people complain saying we didn't want optical drives or 3.5-inch bays? Did people complain to say we didn't want RAM slots or PCI or mini PCI or M.2 slots in our laptops? Well, at least that stuff hasn't happened yet in the desktop, but it's soon going to happen because of the disgrace that is the Mac Studio. No matter how powerful it is in a small form factor, it still has the expandability and repairability problem. That's going to create landfill. Yeah. My mom came up with that one, so thank goodness she told me about the landfill problem. But we need to fix this mess. We need to throw Apple out of business because it should have been put out of business in 1997 or 1998, whenever it will run bankrupt. Apple didn't deserve to stay in business, given what Steve Jobs would have done. And you know what, Tim Cook? He had great potential without Steve Jobs. He could have been a much better person, not this egomaniac criminal. So yeah. Not gonna... When I was planning this video, I was gonna use the F word on people who are, like, causing this mess, but I'm not gonna do it, because I don't want to, like, ruin everything. I apologize to NBC and The Voice for using those words on my earlier video. But Apple, you are a complete disgrace. You're worse than Nice Bus, you're worse than Trump, you're worse than Lee Zeldin, you're worse than Putin. You're worse than all those evil leaders in foreign countries. Apple, you're worse than all those combined. And also the ones I didn't mention that would be controversial from World War II. You're worse than all those too added to that. Because Apple's trying to end the computer industry as we know it, tricking people psychologically into liking things that are not likable, like the lack of upgradability, just to make a laptop thin, and in fact too thin to even yield performance, or have the ports we want. Yeah, ports. They tricked us into hating ports too. And even if it runs at a low power draw, it will be slow because of that, and it will still overheat if it's too thin, the way things are going. And the Mac Studio overheats too, and it's really loud just because it's in a small space. If it had a mini tower case or a small form factor case, it would have been much better. Could have had upgradable components like the Mac Pro, or the Power Macintosh 6200, for example, a computer that's less pro but had upgradability. I'd say the Mac Studio is like a far worse version of the Power Macintosh 7200. And you know, it overheats, it's very loud because of that. It would have been able to have all those components and expandability the 7200 would have already had, if it had been in a larger case. And also, it's expensive. Like, I can understand my company when I start my computers, which are being worked on as we speak. I can understand that mine are going to be expensive because I might be buying off-the-shelf components from Newegg. But that's only because I need to earn profit, whereas Apple, these ARM computers cost less than $100 to make, and they're charging thousands. And Apple's actually not even focusing on the Mac Pro right now. They're gonna discontinue it probably in a few months, maybe even sooner, and just have no more Mac Pro. What about the creators? What about the people who need the expandability? We should have a Mac called the X Mac, one that's like as powerful as the 24-inch iMac, but has expandability. How about that? It was a concept somebody else came up with, and the name was come up by someone else too. I don't remember who it is, sorry. Whoever it is gets good credit for that idea. This video is already 9 minutes long right now. So, the bottom line is Apple Silicon, you need to be thrown in the trash. We need to bring back Intel to Apple. AMD to Apple, too, would be a great idea. You know what? Let's just shut down Apple because of how awful it is with consumers, tricking them into liking the features they hate, convincing companies, and you know, even Dell's copying Apple. That's the company you'd least expect to copy Apple. Dell's actually getting rid of their RAM slots and M.2 slots in their Latitude laptops. Whatever happened to them? Did people say, oh, we don't like those things anymore, we want them gone? No, they didn't! We like those things inside computers. There was no complaints about M.2 slots or RAM slots inside computers, or MXMs. Well, MXMs never came in the low-end laptops, but they should have. But anyway, What I'm saying is in laptop form, this, I'll bring it onto my bed. Can't seem to get it. Sorry. This is, sorry about my necklace. This is A+ design for a laptop. This type of thickness is A+ design. I know the ports aren't A+ design on this one. The ports are meager on this one, not A+ design, but then when it comes to F- design, that would be this thing, this MacBook Air. Yeah. And I don't think we should go back to CRTs, but we need to go back to other technologies that people didn't complain about and they just got rid of, even though people didn't say, oh, we don't want this anymore. That's it.